Welcome to Hannity. Breaking tonight. I have said it before. I will say it again and prove it. Journalism, so-called journalism in this country is dead. And this weekend, you witness just one more, if not the final nail in the coffin. Well, now that the media's Russia obsession isn't exactly working out according to plan, well, instead of Russia, well, now it's Stormy, and more Stormy. The mainstream media's nonstop assault on President Trump and his character and credibility has reached an even new low. And then there's creepy Anderson Cooper, along with the king of porn, soon-to-be scandal-plagued Jeff Zucker, fake news CNN, they're all leading the way. Tonight, we will show you, get your tape recorders running, how this breathless hysteria surrounding Stormy Daniels exposes the blatant double standard within your mainstream media. And we'll give you our take on Stormy Daniels and the much-typed interview on 60 Minutes last night. Plus, despite the press in this country telling you it would never happen, President Trump, he is taking tough, swift action against Russia, expelling 60 diplomats, some of whom are spies, from our borders and closing Russia's consulate in Seattle. We have that and more. You do not want to miss our breaking news opening monologue. All right, so the left-wing mainstream media's contempt for this president has now reached a boiling point and, frankly, a point of unhinged insanity. This is especially true for fake news CNN. Now, for days, the Clinton News Network, they have been completely and utterly obsessed with porn star Stormy Daniels and her salacious claims that she had a brief affair, a one-time encounter with Donald Trump some 12 or 13 years ago. You don't believe me? Take a look for yourself.
Detailing on national television an intimate relationship with Donald Trump and the effort to conceal it. Adult film actress Stormy Daniels.
The White House briefing expected to begin any moment now. They will certainly face questions about Stormy Daniels.
The Stormy saga takes a dramatic turn as the porn star speaks out on her alleged affair with citizen Trump.
Stormy Daniels is lawyer.
We haven't heard from him about the Stormy Daniels affair.
Adult film star Stormy Daniels breaking her silence about her alleged affair with President Trump.
We're talking, I think, understandably and appropriately about the most serious legal allegations that Stormy Daniels made.
Stormy Daniels,
I know you've heard a ton about that, and we have to see where that case goes and what this interview is about.
Well, is that possible to come up in the Stormy Daniels lawsuit? Will she be able to say, hey, look, this lawyer is involved with a whole bunch of different things here?
This could be the last nail in the coffin. Yeah. Stormy Daniels is causing stormy weather.
Porn star Stormy Daniels claims President Trump broke the law, had her bullied.
Does Stormy Daniels have the president's number? It sure seems that way.
President Trump might have met his match with Stormy Daniels.
How is Stormy weathering this?
Stormy speaks.
We're hearing quite a bit from Stormy Daniels.
Stormy, in her own words, isn't going anywhere.
Stormy Daniels has a good lawyer. The porn star Stormy Daniels was telling the truth.
Stormy Daniels is on a tear.
Quick preview of Stormy Daniels' interview this Sunday.
Breaking news that Stormy Daniels.
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 The reason he can't engage with Stormy Daniels is because she's got his number.
Now, of course, the whole network, CNN, isn't just focusing in on Stormy Daniels. Well, the network is also giving ample airtime to the claims that are also made by a former Playboy playmate, Karen McDougal, capped with a particularly, frankly, creepy interview with Anderson Cooper on Thursday. Listen to these questions, and we got a lot more coming.
Would he call you?
He would call me, I would call him, vice versa.
So you had his phone number. When he called, did his number show up on the phone? Were you attracted to him? So the sex was consensual. Did he actually try to hand you money? Did he bring up his wife? Would he talk about his child, his son? Were you in love with him?
I was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And do you think he was in love with you? Did Donald Trump ever say to you that he loved you? Did he have any nicknames for you? What did you think of the apartment? And he showed you around the apartment. How did you feel being in his apartment? Did he ever compare you to any of his kids? Did he ever use protection?
Now, meanwhile, last night on 60 Minutes, Anderson Cooper sat down for his much-anticipated interview with Stormy Daniels. But despite all the buildup and all the unverified, over-the-top claims made by her lawyer and all of the constant, obsessive-compulsive media obsession, Cooper's interview did fall flat and once again came off, sorry, Anderson, this is creepy. Take a look.
You told Donald Trump to turn around and take off his pants.
Yes.
And did he?
Yes. So he turned around and pulled his pants down a little. You know, he had underwear on and stuff, and I just gave him a couple swats.
This was done in a joking manner?
Yes.
Did you two go out for dinner that night?
No.
You had dinner in the room?
Yes.
What happened next? And you had sex with him?
Yes.
You were 27, he was 60. Were you physically attracted to him?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Did you want to have sex with him?
No. But I didn't say no. I'm not a victim. I'm not.
It was entirely consensual?
Oh, yes.
In an industry where condom use is an issue, did he use a condom?
No.
Did you ask him to?
No.
After you had sex, what happened? He definitely wanted to continue to see you.
Oh, for sure.
It wasn't, at that point, a business meeting. It was just watching Shark Week.
Yeah.
One-time consensual relationship alleged. Now, if you find those questions disturbing, wait until you see the interview footage that didn't make air from 60 Minutes overtime. I guess that's the extra tape that they had nothing to do with. It was posted online. And, yeah, this is tabloid trash. Take a look.
They wanted me to make a movie. And
A movie of you having sex with somebody who looked like Donald Trump.
And I said no repeatedly,
Why?
much to their,
Why? Physically, you've seen him in ways that other people haven't.
Correct. And if need be, I could describe that.
His private parts.
Does Anderson really consider this hard news journalism? Now, despite claims from Stormy's lawyer that his client was ready to disclose a mountain of evidence about Trump's misconduct, the only potentially newsworthy moment from the interview was when Stormy's claims that she was threatened by an unidentified man following her alleged affair with Mr. Trump, a one-time affair. But even that claim wasn't backed up with any evidence, no evidence whatsoever. So instead, we just got the embarrassing details of a supposed or alleged one-night stand from over 12 years ago. Even some in the mainstream media, they are expressing their utter disappointment about Anderson's interviewing and hard-hitting journalism. Take a look.
So I think people thought there was going to be like a smoking gun here. Did we miss something?
As a young lawyer, I remember being told, never overpromise. Underpromise, overdeliver, and the jury will look positively on you. We have an attorney that's done just the opposite. He overpromised. He sent out tweets with pictures of his CD-ROM suggesting some big explosion. He told us 2 weeks ago that she was threatened with assault, and we would find out more on 60 Minutes. When, in fact, we found out nothing new on 60 Minutes. So what are you waiting for? What is the trigger that has you releasing the physical evidence?
I asked you whether there was any evidence, documentary evidence, text messages, photo evidence that verified that Stormy Daniels had the affair she claims that she had. You said to me, that's a question that Miss Daniels will have to ultimately answer. Cut to last night, she's asked directly about this on 60 Minutes, and she says, my attorney has instructed me not to answer. So, does she or doesn't she have this evidence?
All right, hell's frozen over. I agree with Liberal Joe and the Today Show's Savannah Guthrie. Now, for days right here on this program, we have been questioning if CNN's soon-to-be scandal-plagued chief, Jeff Zucker, has turned into the porn king. But tonight, after back-to-back lewd, cringeworthy, creepy interviews with Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal, again, allegations of a consensual relationship, it just looks like Anderson Cooper has now turned into CNN's Jerry Springer. It's a pretty compelling comparison. Let's take a look.
You told Donald Trump to turn around and take off his pants.
Yes.
And did he?
Yes.
You're young, you like to have fun, you're party girl, etc. So what's the story here?
Oh, Lord.
And you had sex with him?
Yes.
Do you want to be with her boyfriend?
No, it's just a one-time thing.
Did you want to have sex with him?
No. But I didn't say no.
You're not interested in being with him. He's just a customer, right? Or are you interested in being with him?
He ended up taking me home.
You work in an industry where condom use is an issue. Did he use a condom?
No.
Did you ask him to?
No.
So you had sex with him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Watch out, Jerry Springer. Creepy Anderson Cooper could be coming for your job. Now, we're not kidding. Look at this. CNN was running images all day long of, there she is, porn star Stormy Daniels next to Karen McDougal. We're not making this up. There's a serious note to all of this. And aside from Anderson's usually salacious interviews, the mainstream media's coverage of Daniels and McDougal is revealing a huge double standard in this country. You got allegations from a porn star about a one-time consensual relationship with Donald Trump. Gets round-the-clock coverage. CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, Conspiracy TV, MSNBC, and others. Now, according to a study, this is where we get serious, from Newsbusters, between March 7th and March 25th, the evening newscasts from just NBC, ABC, and CBS, well, they dedicated a whopping 40 minutes of airtime to Trump allegations of a consensual relationship. But for decades, the mainstream media has completely ignored serious stories of abuse. Juanita Broderick, Paula Jones, Kathleen Willey, all women that accused a former president, Bill Clinton, of serial predator-like gross sexual misconduct. And the Media Research Center, they crunched those numbers. And according to their count, in 1994, when Paula Jones came forward with details about Bill Clinton dropping his pants and exposing himself to her in a hotel room, CBS and NBC actually ignored the story. ABC, to their credit, gave a whopping 16 seconds of coverage. And then in 1997, when Kathleen Willey's allegations about Bill Clinton became public, that he groped and grabbed and fondled and touched and kissed her against her will, well, CBS and NBC gave it 1 minute and 34 seconds of coverage. ABC didn't touch the story. But in fairness to Ed Bradley, who did pass away, he did do an interview on 60 Minutes with Kathleen, and I believe he talked to Paula. But CNN's evening newscast dedicated just 26 seconds of coverage. Big difference, CNN then and now. And in 1998, when news broke about Juanita Broderick's serious claims that she was raped by Bill Clinton in the 70s, ABC, CBS, they didn't find a spare second to cover it. And meanwhile, Lisa Myers from NBC, she booked the first interview with Juanita Broderick. And according to a report from the Washington Post, for over a month, NBC chief Andy Lack and others prevented the interview from airing because they said they were unable to corroborate her story. Now, right here on the Fox News channel, Brit Hume, remember? And others were wearing free Lisa Myers buttons on air to encourage NBC to release that extremely important interview. When the mainstream media eventually did cover the stories of Bill Clinton's accusers, the reporting was often dismissive. Let's take a look at some of the clips provided to us thanks to the Media Research Center.
Yes, the case is being fomented by right-wing nuts. And yes, she's not a very credible witness. And it's really not a law case at all. I think she's a dubious witness. I really do.
We've got an awful lot to talk about this week, including the sexual harassment suit against the president. Of course, in that one, it's tough to figure out who's really being harassed.
Is she not trying to capitalize on this, in effect, to profit from impugning the president?
I have to profess complete confusion over this entire case, why this is even a case.
What do you think of Ms. Broderick's story?
Oh, I don't believe it at all. Anybody who waits 21 years to surface a charge like this and has no evidence to back it up, that other than very circumstantial, what she may or may not have told some of her friends at the time, has sworn in the deposition that it never happened, and now all of a sudden comes forth with this story. The story doesn't deserve to be dignified by being broadcast and displayed.
Now, meanwhile, Matt Drudge on the Drudge Report had up on his website today that this 1998 op-ed in the New York Times dismissed claims against Clinton, writing, quote, publicly humiliating anyone for consensual adultery is draconian, and it's wrong. Well, I guess that's changed, too. And let's not forget that ABC's very own former Clinton sycophant, Georgie Stephanopoulos, he once threatened to end a person's career if they dared to go public with Clinton's affair allegations. Take a look at this threat.
What is names, address? I can send you a fax with names, addresses, phone numbers of who you had an affair with. It wouldn't make it true. It is completely if you went on the radio and said that Bill Clinton is the father of an illegitimate black child, you would be laughed at. People would think you're crazy. I guarantee you that if you do this, you'll never work in Democratic politics again. Maybe you don't want to. I'm not saying it matters. You will be embarrassed before the National Press Corps. People will think, nobody will believe you, and people will think you're scummy.
Now, the point of this is the appalling double standard in the media continued all throughout the 2016 election. The liberal press, essentially, they covered for then candidate Hillary Clinton, all while throwing her husband's accusers under the bus. We've got the videotape.
A trio of women who say Bill Clinton made unwanted sexual advances in the 80s and 90s. Mr. Clinton denies it. Two of the cases were plagued by factual discrepancies.
When it was Bill Clinton's problem, almost in the moment, Republicans tried to make it an issue, and it didn't work. So why is it going to work 20 years later with his wife?
I just don't see it.
The big issue?
I would like to apologize to those tramps that have slept with my husband. Maybe she could have said that.
The rape accusation is decades old and discredited.
It's Hillary Clinton who is the candidate here, not Bill Clinton. She was not implicated in any misconduct. She was not someone who was accused even of doing anything untoward with regard to these women.
It's about groping and fondling and touching against a woman's will.
And rape.
And rape.
Donald Trump using that word unprompted during an interview last night with Fox News' Sean Hannity, bringing up a discredited and long-denied accusation against former President Bill Clinton, dating back to 1978 when he was Arkansas Attorney General.
By the way, that's pretty pathetic. And in that last clip that we showed, Andrea Mitchell, NBC actually edited the online version to remove her using the word discredited. Now, what we just showed you is appalling. In just a few minutes, by the way, Paula Jones, Juanita Broderick, they will react to this double standard right here in studio to shed some light on how they have been treated by the liberal media. But it's very clear the mainstream media shrouds itself in moral superiority in order to just slam Donald Trump. But then gets down in the gutter to defend all things Clinton. They take accusations about 12 years ago about an alleged consensual encounter between Trump and Stormy Daniels, and they turn it into weeks and weeks-long scandal. But even up until November of 2016, they were totally timid as it relates to Bill Clinton's serial predatory behavior, almost ignoring all of the allegations. Think of this: rape, groping, fondling, touching, kissing against one woman's will, exposing yourself. You know, when it comes to Bill Clinton, oh, okay, they're not going to fixate on any of it, but every detail of an alleged consensual relationship as it relates to Donald Trump over a decade ago. Journalism is dead, and every day gets buried deeper and deeper. All right, which brings us to our next top story that the media will not talk about tonight, and that is their narrative, the Trump-Russia collusion narrative, suffered yet another blow today. And in response to Putin's sanctioned nerve attack against an agent, against an ex-spy in Great Britain, the Trump administration announced they're kicking out 60 Russian diplomats in this country, including some who are believed to be spies operating in the U.S. And a Russian consulate in Seattle was ordered closed because of its proximity to a U.S. naval base. Now, the expelled Russians will have just 7 days to leave this country. And while President Trump takes serious action against Russia, well, something we didn't see until the final weeks of the Obama administration, you might remember when the mainstream media was predicting that Donald Trump would do the exact opposite, that President Trump was some kind of shill for Vladimir Putin, or Brennan saying last week, oh, maybe they've got something on Donald Trump.
I think he's afraid of the president of Russia. Why? Well, I think one can speculate as to why. That the Russians may have something on him personally that they could always roll out and make his life more difficult.
It's so clear at this point that Vladimir Putin and his associates, somebody has something on Donald Trump.
That may be something that turns the key in the Russia probe, is figuring out why this president is so deferential to Putin and to Russia, and if there is some sort of compromise that they have on him.
Donald Trump is afraid. A political hurricane is out there at sea for him. We'll call it Hurricane Vladimir, if you will, the whole Russian thing.
They make these decisions time and time again in a way that makes it appear that they're hostages, that he's Vladimir Putin's hostage.
All right, I'm back to disagreeing with Liberal Joe. You just heard it. Former CIA Director Brennan said the Russians must have something on Trump. Okay, then if they did, why would he do what he did today? I wonder if the media is going to publicly eat those words, but don't hold your breath. Now, if the media's obsession with Russia, 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 followed by their new obsession with Stormy, 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 has taught us anything, it's that when the media is wrong, they'll just move on to another story. Never mind. And our next guest, Monica Crowley, wrote an op-ed in The Hill today titled